Well,
you are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, not a fun Monday.
No, can't sugarcoat it. It's bad.
Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live. On today's show, Will Warren has a chance to show up and show out for the Yankees again, and it's a big deal now because of news that came out. And Gleyber Torres had some things to say about the Yankees. We'll talk about that. We're going to discuss Giancarlo Stanton's elbows. And speaking of elbows, this is going to be an elbow show. Speaking of elbows, Tommy John has been recommended for Gerrit Cole. This is the absolute worst. This is nightmare scenario. This is really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it puts their World Series chances. I mean,
they're done. There's no way.
in the gutter. In the gutter.
no
like I hate to be that guy, and I don't want to be the guy that's calling season over in the middle of the year. But I mean, you're not winning a championship without the best pitcher in baseball. You're not. You're not
even winning the AL East without him too.
Yeah, the two injuries you couldn't afford were Cole or Judge, and you have one of them. I don't really care about the second opinion, if that makes sense. Like I don't hold out hope for it. The UCL is torn. His UCL is torn. There's no. What's the second opinion going to tell you? That it's still torn. Like it's the UCL is torn. That's it. He needs surgery. There's no. I don't know. It feels like in these situations, you wait for a second opinion, hoping that the answer is going to be different, but you're not going to get a different answer. The diagnosis is the diagnosis.
But maybe he thinks, I don't know, because do we know which doctor said that Tommy John was recommended?
No, we don't. We just know that's the first opinion they got. So I'm assuming it's the Yankee doctor. Because
maybe he's holding out for that brace surgery instead, which is another thing you can do with the elbow. But, Tommy John, this is recovery time for Tommy John is 12 to 18 months for pitchers. Like that is,
Yeah, I think it's little bit of silver lining for the very, very distant future is the fact that majority of time, most pitchers come back stronger from Tommy John. They just do. The surgery is done so well nowadays, and it's done so often. And obviously, Gerrit Cole get operated on by the best of the best. Right. So the fact that it's done so often and so well, you don't hear of guys' careers ending because of Tommy John surgery anymore. And quite frankly, majority of guys come back stronger than ever from Tommy John, better than ever, throwing with higher velocity than ever. So, there is maybe this does extend Gerrit Cole's career into his late 30s and 40s as a dominant pitcher still, but that's a silver lining that exists in 18 months. That's not a silver lining that exists. I mean, he's going to be even if he gets back 12 months from now and is able to pitch by May or June. He's not pitching opening day this year or next year. Right. Best case scenario though, Gerrit Cole is not Gerrit Cole until the playoffs of 2026. That's when he's back to full form, full velocity, full availability. It's as bad of news as the Yankees could ever get. I think we are going to push this segment back to tomorrow so we can talk about it for you guys and break it down a little more. But I have a theory that this may have been needed a year ago, and they just tried to push it as much as possible. I have a feeling it might have been partially torn a year ago. It might have been a Masahiro Tanaka type injury a year ago. But he didn't want to destroy their World Series hopes, and the Yankees are familiar with Tanaka having this injury, so they're like, he can push through it. And Masahiro Tanaka didn't throw 102 miles an hour.
I was going to say, he didn't throw as hard as Gerrit Cole does. Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels like Gerrit Cole did slow down at a point in the season last year. He pitched really well in the playoffs, but at the point in late summer, early fall, he did slow down a little bit. Maybe this injury was there. And maybe pitching last year, especially into the postseason, because he did wind up giving you a full workload, could have fully torn it. And, maybe it would have been better to repair the partially torn UCL at opening day last year, this time 1 year ago, because this time 1 year ago, he'd be healthy now. He'd be coming back now from that surgery.
We're well, you were probably going to mention this, but imagine you're Gerrit Cole. The Yankees get Juan Soto, right? And they're thinking win now.
You're right.
Back
You're right.
You're thinking, oh God, okay, I can't.
Yeah, I can't argue with you.
I can't get a surgery if we have Juan Soto because our best chances of going to the World Series and winning one is if I pitch for this team and maybe I hold out for a couple months and maybe I'll feel better, that sort of thing. Like, I feel like
I have no argument. Yeah, you're right. Checkmate.
There was added pressure there. So I kind of understand that. Same thing for Stanton. He was feeling, we'll talk about this in segment 2 more, but he was feeling pain last year and he played through it. And sometimes there's just that pressure on these guys, and I don't blame them in a sense for that, because I can understand why you want to stick around and help out, especially when you're thinking to yourself, okay, if we make the World Series, if we win a World Series, maybe it gives us a better chance of signing him long term. Obviously, that didn't work out, but that could have been in the back of their minds. So,
but again, there were 2 players the Yankees couldn't afford injuries to. That their season ends if either of 2 guys get hurt, and one of them's hurt now. And again, I don't want to. I know that you guys tune into this show because you're excited for baseball season and you want to talk about the Yankees and get excited. I get all of that, but we're also 2 journalists, if you want to call it, or hosts, or whatever you want to call us, that we're not going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to throw the pom poms. Me and Stacey have never done that. We're not going to start doing that. We're going to tell you how it is. And there's times where we get excited. There's times where we get angry. But this is just purely devastating. There's no way to, I'm not going to try and spin this in a positive. Oh, well, if Rodon gives you a Cy Young year and Fried gives you, no, you are not winning the World Series without Gerrit Cole. You're not. Max Fried has been on teams with really good pitching staffs and really good aces and stuff. They've won 1 World Series with the Braves, and that was behind a really, really, really talented roster. It was. Carlos Rodon has been an ace of his staff before. He's never won a World Series. It takes that. Fried and Rodon are 2s. They are. And you need those on your team for sure. But it does take that one generational special ace to get you through the tough moments. And, Gerrit Cole was that guy. And again, I think there's plenty to discuss, and we will definitely do this tomorrow on the opt-out extension, which is looking a little fishy right now. And all this stuff. There's a lot going on here that can be really broken down into a fine powder of what actually happened here. Because if we want to be real, the Yankees got hosed on giving a guy an extension that they really believed in, that probably knew he was hurt prior. So, we'll discuss that a little later on. I don't think Gerrit Cole came into spring training though and hurt himself last week. Hurt himself a few days ago when he gave up 6 earned runs in its start. That's not what happened here. Gerrit Cole was hurt. Gerrit Cole knew he was hurt. We've known this since last April. We went through this whole same level of feelings a year ago. All of this happened a year ago. So, I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know what you want to compare it to. Is this getting back with your ex and she breaks up with you again a year later? I don't know. But this, quite frankly, ended their season. It did. Yeah. And they'll still be competitive. They're going to win 88, 86 games, 88 games, whatever. Maybe if there's a silver lining, they'll be really bad and Boone will lose his job. But other than that, they're in the worst spot possible, actually, because they're probably going to make the playoffs as a wild card team. They are talented enough. They're going to score enough runs. Their pitching staff is good enough. They'll win 88 games, but it's not going to feel like it means anything because you don't have an ace out there on the mound.
And this is also coupled with Heel being out for however long he's going to be out. So those are 2 guys that were big pieces of your rotation last season. One won the Rookie of the Year, and the other one is your ace. And that is just devastating. This is absolutely devastating. Do I think the Yankees are now only going to win 65 games? No, but this is just, and
they're
it's
too
funny.
Talented.
I've gotten messages from 2 Red Sox fans and a Braves fan who said, as much as I don't like the Yankees, this sucks. They're like, this is bad for baseball when someone like Gerrit Cole gets injured, and it's not fun to see someone like him getting injured. And it was just, odd to me that they sent me those messages, but they're like, no, you know how much I hate the Yankees, but this really sucks for him and for them. That just sucks.
It's a weird feeling, and I agree with you, though. I feel, because at the core of it, are we Yankee fans? Yeah, but at the core of it, we're sports fans.
Yeah.
And as a sports fan, you want to see the best of the best perform. Like, I'm bummed as a Yankee fan because they're not going to win a World Series now, and that really is devastating. But regardless, I'm blessed that he's on my team for sure, but I want to watch Gerrit Cole pitch. I do. I enjoy watching the guy. He's an artist out there. I love watching him do what he does for a living. That's what makes it so upsetting, kind of, is you don't get to see that now. But I was upset when Jacob DeGrom missed full years. I was upset when Ronald Acuna Jr. was out. It's awful. It really is.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned DeGrom. I was thinking the same thing. So yeah, it's not good, but we still have a season to cover, and there could be other silver linings. Like, there could be guys who emerge from this with a chance to really help out the team. Like, you don't expect them to pitch like Gerrit Cole, but you'll see people, like, hopefully, and then you might see other storylines too where people emerge.
The thing is no one's gonna strike out 200 plus. No one's gonna give you an under 3 ERA at that elite of a clip.
I understand.
No, I'm not saying to you. I know you know that, but it's like that's the whole season. I can come back at you with that. Is you're never gonna anyone who has someone got the craziest year ever. No one's gonna meet that because he's a Hall of Fame pitcher. I mean, it's the worst news you could have possibly gotten.
Yeah. All right, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out lineups during the season, roster moves, and breaking news, although I forgot to send this out because I was so upset that I completely forgot to send out the news to the insiders, so I apologize. But if you sign up, you don't have to check social media because we send you everything. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up, we'll tell you exactly what Giancarlo Stanton said about his elbows next.
Well, guys, March Madness is here, and the FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even to see who's cutting down the nets. Picking my favorites has been the best part on FanDuel. I got a few underdogs this year, and FanDuel makes it easy to get back in with spreads, totals, game props, futures. Everything's available on there. Staying in on the action with tournament games happening almost every day, there's always something exciting to bet on. It's easy, it's fast, the FanDuel app is simple to use, and when I win, I get paid out instantly. There's no waiting around like the other apps. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. And thanks again for making Locked On Yankees your first listen. Remember that every Friday is Fan Mail Friday. You can leave questions underneath the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club to get top priority during Fan Mail Friday. The link is in the description. So, Stacey, the other major injury that came out of camp this year was Giancarlo Stanton and his elbows. Now, the silver lining with that is, he's going to be back likely at some point in 2026 or 2025, which is what we thought. There's updates on that. But even if he was out and we got devastating news that Stanton was out, yeah, it would have been devastating, and yeah, it would not be ideal, and it would certainly hurt the Yankees World Series chances, but it wouldn't have ruined them. It wouldn't have completely tanked their chance. I think we both kind of agreed. The Yankees had the capability to win a World Series with Giancarlo Stanton hurt this year. Did it hurt their chances if he was out all year? Certainly, but it didn't ruin them completely. Now you get the news, and it seems like since this news has come out that Stanton was hurt, it has progressively gotten worse and worse. This news went from, oh, let's see, maybe he'll be back in a little bit. Oh, he's going back to New York. Oh, he's getting PRP injections. Oh, he's not with the team. Oh, now he's back, but he's not really back. He's kind of just in Florida physically because he's not doing anything baseball related. Not for a while. He's significantly hurt. It's weird that this is going on in both injuries, and they're categorizing it as severe, Stacey. Wild stuff.
Yeah, he said he attributes it to bat adjustments from last season. And he even said that, everyday tasks he's having issues with because he can't even grip things. So, he's trying to get like maybe like a protein shake or something. He's going in the refrigerator and he can't even grip the can, which is just unbelievable to even think about. And the fact that he played through it last season, again, I'm thinking there was pressure from these guys, or from the fact that Soto was on the team and that, the window is closing. They know the window's
Yeah.
closing. You don't want to waste Cole and Judge. So they were really trying to get back to the World Series after a very long absence and try to do something. So I understand why he played through it. But it's amazing to me that he was feeling, I've had tendonitis in my knee. I know what that feels. It is not pleasant at all. And I can't even imagine having it in both elbows and still doing what he did last season and through the playoffs. It's unbelievable.
That's what's crazy to think about mostly is the production that he had through the postseason, right?
Yeah.
It's not that he just had it in both elbows, to the production. If he was out there hitting, .050 or whatever, okay, he was hurt, we understand, whatever. But he was producing at an unbelievably historic clip. So that's what's kind of crazy about the whole thing. But you can't expect the guy to play through this the entire year. And wait till you hear these quotes, because if you're someone, and I know these people exist, a Yankee fan who can't stand Giancarlo Stanton, thinks that he always gets hurt, he doesn't want to be out there, he doesn't care, he doesn't listen to these quotes from Giancarlo Stanton and tell me this guy is a guy who doesn't care and doesn't want to be out there. You can go ahead, Stace.
Okay, let me make sure I'm reading the right quote because I have a few of them. He said, "I absolutely hate this. I'm going to get back as soon as possible." Like he's one of those guys who, as much as people like to bring up the fact that, oh, he's injured every year, and this was a narrative when they found out that he was injured at the start of camp, like, oh, a season wouldn't, or spring training wouldn't be spring training without Stanton announcing an injury. And I knew right away, I was like, that's not correct. And I literally went to his baseball reference page and went to every opening day game in his career and saw that he started every single time. So it's not that narrative. He gets hurt later in the season, which happens to a lot of guys. This is the first time he's going to miss opening day in his entire career since 2011. And that doesn't even count because they didn't call him up till June. So
Yeah.
yeah.
We're not going to sit here and tell you that he's not an injury-prone player. He is. We're acknowledging that. But to give him the flack that he gets for not being on the field is just simply wrong. Especially at the start of the year. I feel terrible for this guy. I really do. And you could tell that he wants to be out there. He really does.
He said that he lacks grip strength. He's having trouble picking things up in day-to-day life, and he's not swung a bat since mid-January. We're almost at mid-March, so
yeah, it's a problem. It is.
That's bad. And he also said it's going to get to a point of pain tolerance and go from there. I don't think it's going to be a 100% healed thing and start up. It'll be get to a point and just deal with it, similar to last year. So he was playing through pain last year.
Crazy stuff to even hear that. It's devastating for an athlete to hear that from him. And I think he's right, though. This is gonna be a pain tolerance thing. It is gonna be a play through it. I wonder when he gets surgery. If he got surgery now, he'd be done for the year. That's what they said. So I don't think that he wants to do that. Two different cases, two different human beings. So it's hard to make this point, but I'm gonna try and make it anyway. If you're the Yankees, do you advise Stanton to just get surgery now? You don't want to give up on a season, and you don't want to admit that the season's over.
Right.
But Gerrit Cole's hurt. And, at the end of the day, you win championships in this league with pitching. You do. No team slugs their way to a title. They just don't. I mean, even as good as the Dodgers were last year, they still pitched the crap out of the ball. I almost think if you're the Yankees, you nudge them a little bit and say, this might be the best time to get the surgery. Get it, be healed for opening day of next year, and be healthy next year.
Yeah. So he was up here in New York. He had other personal stuff to attend to on top of the elbow thing. He had 2 rounds of PRP treatments, and he's going to have a 3rd set of injections today, Monday. So maybe after that injection, they'll see what's going on. And, if it doesn't get better, then maybe he will have to have surgery.
Now, do you think it's the best option right now, surgery? It just feels like at this point, maybe I'm just being too depressed in the moment because of the Cole news, but I just feel like, why not, play through this year, let it be a focus on Dominguez, let it be a focus on Volpe developing further, let it be a focus on Will Warren, let this year be a focus on all those things, let Gerrit Cole be a quasi pitching coach, in the dugout all year, and get ready and weird to say, let some money come off the books, focus on giving Devin Williams a long-term extension at the end of the year, and, spend some money next offseason and hit the ground running for 2026. It's depressing, but is it not true? I don't see the point in pushing and going crazy for a World Series this year.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just depressing. Like, to see the reactions of everyone, because I think I saw the post on Blue Sky like 2 minutes after it was posted by MLB Trade Rumors, and I yelled out an expletive and then said I was going to puke. And my mom said, "What's the problem?" And I said, "Gerrit Cole is probably getting Tommy John." And she's like, "Ooh," because she knows.
Yep.
My mom knows all about that stuff. My mom knows more about baseball than people think because of me and my brother and my father when he was still alive. Like, she always joked about that. She's like, "You think I'm not paying attention, but I know what's going on because of you three always talking." So, yeah. So this is just, it's depressing. It's depressing, but I don't think all hope is lost. Again, this team has a chance to compete. They have a chance to make the playoffs. It's just, without an ace, it's hard to do. There's also bullpen injuries that we haven't even gotten into. Like, there's stuff that's happening, and it's just like every other day there seems to be news about an injury. But to have your ace go down with Tommy John,
I'll forever not understand spring training and how baseball players get hurt at the clip they do. It makes no sense. Yeah. It just doesn't.
So coming up, Will Warren will be on display again for the Yankees Monday afternoon, and Gleyber Torres is still not happy with the Yankees. We'll tell you what he said next. So Will Warren is starting today's game against the Tigers. It's on Yes at 105. So far this spring, Warren is 2-0 with a 1.13 ERA. And as we said in segment 1, with Cole out, there's a chance for people to step up. Will Warren is one of them. He already has, but now he really has a chance to, because it was first Luis Heel being out, and you're thinking Warren's going to take over for him. Not that Warren is going to become the one. Everyone's going to slide, and then Warren is going to still go in at the end of the rotation. It's I don't even know what to say. Like, this is so fresh. We're recording this. You guys know it. We record the night before. It's Sunday night. It's not even 11 p.m. The news about Cole came out, like 3 hours ago. We're still digesting it. It's still marinating in our brains. A lot of food references. And it's just, you know how I feel? You know how I feel? I feel almost as bad. Well, no, pretty much as bad as I felt when Mo hurt his knee in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, that was a disaster. I mean, the Yankees were able to make the playoffs and stuff, but it was just, when you see Mo go down with an injury like that, it's like, oh my goodness, what is happening right now?
But as much as it's just, he still was a closer. That's the thing. Like, that's why this is more devastating, because you can survive that. He's the greatest closer of all time, obviously, but you can survive that.
Plus, they had Soriano at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a gut punch. This is a blow. This is as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
It's just, and I agree with you. Will Warren really has a chance to step it up here. He does. He has a chance to really, if he wants a job on the Yankee rotation for the entire year, he has one. He does. It is, nobody is going to come in and take his job from him. If he pitches well enough now, he will be on the Yankee roster the entire year. He just will be. So he has a chance to really solidify himself as a major leaguer throughout the entire year. But, this is his chance. Go out and do it. Sometimes you need that in sports. You just need your opportunity. He's got his. So there's that aspect. Again, Will Warren is not going to supersede the production that Gerrit Cole has given you, though. We're going to go back to this, I feel like, all season. Is even when we have great starts, and even when Carlos Rodon goes out there and strikes out 12, or Max Fried strikes out 12, and they have great starts, we're still going to sit here and be like, yeah, but I don't think either of us are going to, again, we're not going to sugarcoat it, and we're definitely going to talk about them when the Yankees do well, but this is as bad as news can get to you. And it just is.
Yeah, it's a big blow.
Yeah, yeah. And I find this, you mentioned this earlier, and I think this topic is fascinating, because I wonder how Detroit Tiger fans feel. The Gleyber Torres news on him still making comments about the Yankees. I know that they're playing in a is it a spring training game? Yeah, they're going up against the Tigers in the Monday game, where you can watch Will Warren pitch on, later today if listening to this in the morning. But you know, as a Tiger fan, you'd have to sit there and a little bit be like, all right, dude, get over her. She's gone. Like it's almost the season starts in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We get it. Like, you're not a Yankee anymore, though. Your career moves on. He's still making comments about the Yankees. Like, I mean, to me, this reeks of Gleyber Torres still wants to be a Yankee. It does. He's gonna keep making comments and weird things. He wants to be a Yankee. He's not,
Well, yeah.
and it's aggravating him. But it just, all right, dude, get over it. Like, she's gone. She's on to bigger and better things. Like, you gotta sometimes, drop it. And if you're a Detroit Tiger fan, I don't know how you feel about this news. I'd be a little aggravated.
Well, I mean, this was the quote. I feel I deserve to be with an organization that wants me. I'm here now, and that's the reason I'm here. So,
Yeah, it's
with his
just weird
beard.
to bring it up. Like, it just, to even mention it, it's like, all right, it's over. I've never seen another athlete act like this. And Gleyber Torres had some nice years to the Yankees, and he was definitely a promising prospect, and we both had, high visions for him for his future with the Yankees, for sure. But he never lived up to that hype. I'm not
No.
crazy saying that. I'm not out of school saying that. He
No.
never lived up to the Gleyber Torres that we thought he could be. So to still be
Again,
making
he
these
was
comments,
definitely victimized by the juice ball in 2019, like a
100%.
bunch of other guys were.
Yeah. But he never remained that level of Gleyber Torres. And if you're a Tiger fan, you can't love this. Like, where's the comment of being excited to be a Tiger? Or,
Yeah.
loving that he's playing,
Well, I mean, there
with a
probably
new
is
team, a
one.
new organization.
Yeah. I mean, there probably is one. I just pulled the one where he's talking
But
about the
there's been
Yankees just
But there's
because.
been multiple quotes about the Yankees, though, this offseason.
Yeah.
Multiple quotes. And it's at a certain point, if you're a Tiger fan, it's like, all right, enough. We've seen plenty of players on the Yankees, move to different teams. The Atlanta Braves didn't offer Max Fried a contract. They didn't. I haven't heard Max Fried say one thing about the Braves. This is sports. Like, the teams aren't going to always keep you around. Some teams don't want to bring you back for whatever reason they have. The Braves obviously was financial with Max Fried. They don't want to pay him that amount of money. But regardless, I didn't hear Max Fried make a comment out the Braves.
Well, it's funny because I think did Gleyber say in his parting statement, which was very good, his
Yeah.
outgoing statement was good. But didn't he state in that statement that it's a business? Like,
Yeah.
and
You know,
now it's like he's walking that back and being like, well, like it's a business, and they decided we're not going to sign you to a
yeah.
contract. And it sucks. I understand it sucks, but you're with a new team, you have a fresh start. You have a full beard now. You don't have to shave anymore, although you wouldn't have had to shave anymore with the
Yeah, it's
Yankees
true.
now because they changed the rule, but you know what I'm saying. I think this is a great opportunity for him to not have he's not gonna have as much pressure on him with the Tigers
No.
as because not that they expected him to be the superstar in the Yankees, but it's the Yankees. So no matter what
Yeah.
position you're in, you feel pressure to perform.
Yeah. And when you're that scrutinized, that talked about all that, like, but like Gerrit Cole's told us before, pressure's a privilege. There's a privilege in that you're
Yeah.
on the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
I can't, a lot of athletes in today's era have a really difficult time looking themselves in the mirror. And I know that confidence is a big part of sports nowadays, right? And you got to keep your confidence and everything like that. But if you're Gleyber Torres, you really can't look at your shortcomings and understand why the Yankees didn't want you back. It really makes that little sense to you. I'm not trying to say Gleyber Torres is a bad baseball player. I liked him a lot. But are you really, you don't have a clue why the Yankees didn't re-sign you? It doesn't,
I think
nothing clicks?
I think the death knell was him not wanting to move positions. I think
Yeah.
that really, like, cemented
And
it. It wasn't even the performance part because he improved so much in the second half that I really thought that they were going to sign him, maybe for the same
yeah,
kind of deal that the Tigers gave him. But I really think that whole not wanting to switch positions thing, you know how the Yankees operate. This sometimes happens. And let me walk
no,
back the comments about the Tigers. Of course, there's pressure to play for the Tigers because it's a major league team, but it's not the same level as playing for the Yankees. That's what I
no,
mean. I just want to.
no, you're right. You're right. And, let's walk it a step back further too. The Yankees, there's a reason why there's no names on the back of the jerseys, because no individual is bigger than the team. And when you say you're not going to move positions, the only guys that have the ability to make decisions like that for themselves, if I'm not moving positions, are Derek Jeter, who did that famously with A-Rod. But you know what? He's Derek freaking Jeter. He won 4 World Series. He's one of the most clutch players in franchise history. He's one of the most beloved players in franchise history. So he can sit there and say, I ain't going anywhere. And if the Yankees want to say, oh, we need you to move positions, he could say, I've won you 4 World Series. I've had multiple MVP caliber seasons. Gerrit Jeter could say that. Gleyber Torres can't. Right. Aaron Judge, if they told him, by the way, a guy who hasn't complained about moving positions and has been asked to move positions multiple times now. Yeah. Aaron Judge, though, could say, nah, I'm playing
to the point where it's lost him a gold glove a
multiple
times.
Gold gloves. Yeah. Multiple gold gloves. But he can say, I'm staying in right field. Thank you very much. And if he cared about individual accolades that much, he would have said, I'm staying in right field, because that would have won him a couple gold gloves. Yeah. You got to have a certain sort of status to be able to make decisions for yourself like that. And Gleyber Torres is not on that level.
Right. Thank you for sitting through this therapy session. We brought back Locked On therapy session. Steve and I used to have these when the Yankees were not doing that well 2 seasons ago. And this felt like another one of those types of episodes. So thank you for joining us for that. And thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out Locked On Fantasy Baseball with hosts Dominic Martino and Matthew Ane. MLB fantasy draft season is here. Be the most informed fan and set yourself up for a league win. You can find Locked On Fantasy Baseball on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. So that'll do it for this depressing edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you tomorrow.